As you may have heard by now, there's a bit of a war going on between the Wall Street Journal and YouTube. Essentially, what happened is some complete nobody journalist who was trying to boost his visibility. He was trying to get in on the good side, promote himself. He went around looking for videos where there was some kind of racist or even perceived racist content and look for an advertisement by some large company. So he went around and he eventually found some video with the N-word in it. It was in the title, and he screen capped it, had a Coca-Cola ad, and then it became, oh, let's shame Coca-Cola for advertising on this, when in reality Coca-Cola has absolutely no idea their ad was even on it, but made it out like they were deliberately supporting Nazism or racism or whatever it was that he was claiming. So essentially what that created was this whole huge thing where all these advertisers started pulling out of YouTube, and it completely sunk a lot of people. A lot of videos ended up getting demonetized. Now, normally this is the kind of thing that only screws small YouTubers like myself, Angry Bastards, Red Scare TV, people like that. But this nailed people who were even really, really high up, people far, far larger than myself. For example, H3H3 did a very good video on exposing the whole tremendous hypocrisy of this and all of the things that are just completely wrong about this and what a skis bag this guy is. Now, essentially, it created one gigantic racist scare. So this guy admits to having spent hours on YouTube looking for something to complain about. He went looking to try to find something he could possibly connect to racism. Now, here's what I think is really, really strange about this. The image that he presents of the video very clearly has the N-word in it, but it also has an ad on it. Now, I know for a fact, because I have been around long enough with YouTube, uploaded enough videos to know what will and won't get demonetized. If you put anything with the word terrorist in it, it instantly gets demonetized. You put the N-word in it, instantly demonetized. Yet somehow this ad is still on the guy's video. Now that's really, really strange to me how that's there. So I'm not really sure what's going on in that case, because that certainly seems like something that wouldn't have happened. So I suspect this could possibly even be faked. But we'll take them at their word that this is real, and we'll deal with the situation as it is. Now, this guy went out and tried to create a whole huge storm. Now, this completely comes out of what happened with PewDiePie saying stuff that was inappropriate. It was a joke. It was a joke in bad taste. He shouldn't have done it. But they blew it up into this whole huge thing like he had actually supported racism or stuff like that. Now, that seems to be a real problem with the SJW culture in general. They can't differentiate between someone who is making a joke that is racist, acknowledging that that is wrong and shouldn't be doing it, and someone who actually is racist and is attacking minorities. Like, they literally can't differentiate between the two. Like, to them, there's no difference between someone who makes a joke and isn't racist and someone who actually is racist and is attacking minorities. But of course, in the eyes of advertisers, there's also no difference as well. If there's a possibility that they're going to lose some kind of revenue in any way, shape, or form, they're going to react to it. Now, aside from the absurdity of all this, the even questionable example that was being given, speaking specifically to the example of Coca-Cola, I would like to remind people that were so offended by somebody's joke that Coca-Cola literally has death squads in Latin American countries that murder workers for trying to unionize or have unions. These same people that are so mad over the possible use of the N-word seemingly have absolutely no problem whatsoever with literal killings And this is, another example of the blatant first worldism of SJWs and the we don't suffer from real problems, so we have to exaggerate the ones that we have kind of thing. What is really more important here, and what really should be given real outright? Someone may or may not have used the N-word in a video, or people literally being murdered for profits. But SJWs don't see anything beyond their own feelings. To hell with all those people being killed, loss of life, etc. They're offended. That is what takes precedent. I'm not saying you should be able to go around saying the N-word at people. I'm saying there's priorities here. And I think people being murdered is a little bit more important than someone being offended. Now, YouTube has, they say, over 5 billion video views a day, which is mind-blowingly big. And to think that every single one of those views could possibly be watched over is impossible. You can't. How the hell are you supposed to monitor 5 billion views a day? And this guy still had to sit around for hours, under his own admission, to find something to complain about, to find something that he could record and use to attack. This is a case of some, frankly, shitbag who went making up a story in order for him to advance his own career. And he did it with the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal backed it up, and they're the ones who threw a fit over PewDiePie, etc. And that was something that I didn't really want to comment on, but even though I normally dedicate myself to, things that are much more important, like global poverty, etc., I can't escape the fact that I'm on YouTube. And what happens on YouTube, particularly when it comes to cutting people's money, and particularly when it comes to cutting people's views, demonetizing, and YouTube policy in general, affects me as well. So I can't just pretend these things don't exist, because they certainly do affect me. And to some degree, because YouTube is a platform where you theoretically have some measure of freedom of speech, it is important to at least keep an eye on these kind of things, which is why I am bothering to do a video on it. And of course, there's always taking a crack at SJWs for being reactionary pieces of shit, which I'm always happy to do. So this whole thing, I highly recommend going and watching the H3H3 video on this, because he goes into Ethan goes into much more detail about what this guy was doing and how this guy was acting than I've given here. I've just given a brief overview. He goes into much more detail, and I do recommend watching it because the information there is actually important. So although it is uncharacteristic of me to make a statement like this or to make a video like this, to the Wall Street Journal, SJW, I mean WSJ, fucking kill yourself. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.